India, and teacher redefining education for our No Lockdown for Learning Season 2. Today is our second day of the event. Yesterday, we had a curtain raiser event with Dr. Chandrasekhar, Dr. Chandra, and Ms. Devya Kapoor, which was our curtain raiser event. And today is our second day of the session with title Creative Teaching in Languages. So I once again welcome you to our second season of No Lockdown for Learning, where today we'll be talking about creative teaching in languages. So before we move ahead, there are a quick set of ground rules that we set up for the session so that the session goes smoothly. So as you can see, would request everyone to keep their mics on mute and videos off. Participants will be muted during the session. As teachers, we request everyone to please keep muted during the session. Type in your queries, questions in the chat box, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions. But at the end of the session, would request you to type in your queries, questions in the chat box, and we'll be glad to answer them at the end of the session. You all know that we are under lockdown and anybody can face a technical glitch. So we request everyone to stay calm, and at the end of the session, we'll be sharing a feedback form. Would request you to fill in so that we can reach out to you with further updates. So the journey has started. We recently did No Lockdown for Learning Season 1, and now we are back again with the second season. So we are teacher redefining education. So if you look at the spelling, we have double R at the end. And I call this extra R as the repository of resources, repository of educators to connect with each other, repository to attend a lot of professional developmental activities and events, and a repository of various job opportunities. So on a daily basis, the website is being updated. Would request you all to take a look at the website and apply to the jobs. We have also connected with a lot of organizations who are offering work from home opportunities. So we request you all to kindly take a look at teacher.in to find out more about these lucrative work from home opportunities. So moving ahead, and as the time goes on, it's 4. So I would take your much time and I would introduce our today's presenter. Today, we have Madam Ela Verma with us. She is currently working in the capacity of mentor teacher for 5 schools under Delhi government. She has a rich 21 years of experience with which she provides academic support to the schools under her, along with catering to the capacity building of teachers and counseling students for the academic growth. She is also pursuing PhD in education from Barkatullah University, Bhopal, India. She has taken many trainings from the Directorate of Education on facilitation skills, pedagogical interventions, etc. Some of her accolades includes Best Teacher Award and Top 500 Teachers from All India Teaching Professionals. She was also part of a documentary on Municipal Corporation of Delhi Schools Udaan, which was telecasted on Delhi Doordarshan National. She is a very humble person, and I would quote her one quote, which I really liked when we were in talks with ma'am. She said that teachers are one winged birds, and to get and to fly, we require another wing, and that another wing is the another teacher. So I liked her very much, this thought that we definitely are one big birds, and if we get support of another educators, we can fly and we can really give best to our students. So I welcome Ela Verma, ma'am. And ma'am, the stage is all yours. Thank you so much. Ma'am, your voice is not audible. Ela ma'am, if you could hear me, please unmute yourself. Varun, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Kaushal, I am.
I think ma'am's mic is not. She hasn't unmuted herself.
Okay, all right. Uh, let's just give a call.
अब आपने वो असल में वो जो गलती है पकड़ ली है, आपको उसका ज्ञान हो गया।
पहले तो ये पी लो।
Hello. Hello.
Ela ma'am, if you could hear me, please unmute yourself. Ma'am, on the
That's the process one.
ma'am on the laptop.
Teachers, I request you to keep your mics on mute. It is causing disturbance. We're just reaching out to Neela ma'am. Appreciate your patience. Just keep your mics on mute before we start the session. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are unmuted.
So participants, as I said that we can have technical glitch at any time. So we faced one. So let us stay calm and let us pray that things come out soon well. We have got so many things in the kitty and ma'am has prepared so much for you all. Yeah, Ila ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Kaushal, I can hear you.
Yes, yes, ma'am. We also can hear you. So let's welcome all Ila Verma. She is currently working as a mentor teacher in Delhi government, and she is taking care of 5 schools. She has a lot of expertise in facilitating and giving counseling to students and capacity building for teachers. Some of the accolades that she has won the Best Teacher Award, and she was among the top 500 teachers of the All India Teaching Professionals. So let us welcome ma'am, and all the stage is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Kaushal. Okay. So, good morning, good evening, friends. And as you know, that today's topic is creative teaching in languages. So, before we start, Kaushal, shall I share the PPT or are you going to share it? Okay, I'm sharing the PPT. Can you all see this? If yes, please write yes in the chat
Yes,
box.
ma'am.
Is it visible?
Yeah, we are able to see,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So the topic is creative teaching in languages. Here, what comes to your mind when you hear or read the word creative? Can you please post in the chat box? What comes to your mind? Can you hear me now? I've raised the volume. Hello?
Yeah, it's audible, ma'am.
Yes, yes, I can read your messages. Somebody said out of the box, something new and unique, different, right? So instantly, one phrase that comes to our mind is uh, that out of the box. What is out of the box? So let's see what out of the box is. A student has shared a beautiful drawing, Tigris from Tigri. Can you see this? So how she has depicted what out of the box thinking is, which we call creativity, not doing something unconventional, which is not which is different, unique, new, novel. Yes, Kaushal, are you
Ma'am,
saying something? Yes,
ma'am would request you to click the slideshow.
yes, I have clicked on it, but when I click on it, I cannot see the chats.
Okay, ma'am. Then
Isn't
that's
it?
fine. That's fine.
It's in the slideshow mode right now.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
So how it is? I am not able to understand how it is. How you can perceive it? Is this in the slideshow mode or something else?
No, ma'am. It is in the normal mode where the slides are coming on the other side, and one slide is coming.
Okay, so let me just check.
Ma'am, at the bottom there is like you can see a computer
Okay.
screen.
Is
Just
it
click on that.
is it
ma'am.
okay now? Is it clear now? I've clicked on the slide sorter view that it is showing the slideshow.
Ma'am, at the top, if you can see where the home insert
Yes,
design
yes,
animation
yes.
is written. So,
I have allowed. Poonam Katyal, na? Hello. Hello, Kaushal.
Hello.
yes, ma'am, I am able to hear you. You can start. You can start, ma'am. You can continue.
Okay. So as you can see this picture on your screen, just thinking out of the box. Child is sitting in a box and trying to come out of this box and trying to push the box, breaking all the sides, and then made a stair out of it. This is created by student Amisha Singh, student of class 12th of Government School, Delhi, Tigri, from Tigri. So, what out of the box thinking or what creativity is thinking out of the box, and but something that comes out of that box. You cannot create something which is from nowhere, right? You need some ideas. If we talk about the early humans, they created wheel, they created fire, but all that creation was inspired from nature. They see some stones rolling, some wood logs rolling. They see lightning. From there, the concept of fire and the wheels came up. So we always need something to create new. There is something. There is a base. I want to show you some more pictures. Uh, can you go to the next slide? Kaushal, can we move to the next slide? Okay. Yes. Out of the box doesn't mean you can't pick something out of the box. Take something out of the box, but the thing is you have to copy it. If you want to take an idea and transform it and combine it with different options and create new. For this, we can use past experiences and combine with our imagination to create the new ideas. Here is a picture that you can see. There's a child who is sleeping, and can you see that a black bed sheet has been used for showing the night, and the paper cutted stars are there placed there to show the night scene. And the most interesting part is this moon. To give it a 3D effect, a bed sheet has been folded and the legs of the baby it is between placed in between the legs to give it a 3D look. So these are the
The
ideas.
PPT is not visible in that way. It's still showing that, out of the box thing.
From my side, it has. I have already moved
Now I
ahead.
can click on the PPT. Yes.
So you support me from any one of you. You can handle PPT from my side.
I guess Kaushal can, run the PPT.
Kaushal, if it is possible, please run the PPT because I am having. I'm distracted because of this.
She's speaking, but we are not able to see the PPT in that way. Yeah. Go to the next slide, please.
Now I am unable to see which page are you on. Okay.
It's
Yes.
it's out of the box slide now, right now.
Okay. So move ahead to the next slide.
Next slide, please.
Am I audible,
Yes.
Kaushal?
Yeah. This is
Yes,
now
ma'am.
the start
Yeah,
of the
yeah. Now,
PPT.
So, Can we please go to the next slide? Okay, by the time Kaushal settles it, let us discuss about some more things. What,
It's a visible,
according
ma'am.
to you,
Ila ma'am, it's a visible. It's the
it's
rainbow
visible,
and the
okay.
baby.
Okay, no, before that, the black sheet, that night scene where the baby is laying on a black color bed sheet with stars
Yeah,
and moon.
it's visible to us. It's visible to us now.
But I am not able to see it. Still showing me thinking out of the box slide.
Ma'am, if you could just refresh your net, and because we all are able to see the night sky scene.
Okay, so from where I can do that? I don't know,
Ma'am, if
because
you could disconnect the call and join once again.
okay, let's try it. Okay, Kaushal, I'm in. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. I apologize for this botheration. Uh, so, friends, if you see the creativity of the lady, the mother who has, designed it to give it a night scene, and she has placed the folded bed sheet and gave it a look of a moon and placed it between the legs, so to give it a 3D look. So at what first glance, I thought it's a Photoshop, but it's not a Photoshop. The stars are cut from a paper, and the moon is made by using a white sheet. And the similar, move to the next slide, please. The similar idea, similar creativity that the mother has shown in the next slide. Uh, please show the next slide. Please move to the next slide.
We can see it, ma'am. We can see it.
Oh, it's not seen at my side. I don't know what's the problem issue with it. Okay, so in that case, I'll use my PPT to explain. So if you see this picture, the baby, to give it a look of the sky, the blue colored bed sheet is placed underneath, and paper cut clouds are pasted, and then along with that you can see there is a rainbow. This rainbow is created by using different color of dupattas. So this is called creativity, where the same idea, this is not a new concept, but the newness is the use of the objects, use of resources that makes it look different, make it look novel. So what are the qualities a creative teacher should have? Let's move to the next slide and see what are the qualities that a creative teacher should have. And definitely one is using the resources, because all the teachers have the same in a school, have same classroom, same resources, yet their teaching style and strategies they use makes it different, because the teacher is looking at the things from a different perspective. And for that, teacher can encourage questioning classroom, which is open to unusual and challenging questions. And what we do generally in Delhi, in northern India, we use a phrase very commonly, अच्छे बच्चे कैसे मुंह पे उंगली ऐसे. So we always tell them to stay quiet, and we want them to do miracles when they grow up. So when we are conditioning students to stay quiet and not come up with challenging questions or unusual things, we are we are unnecessary packing their ideas into a box. So what is important is to teach them that they think of different options. They think of, we have to create a space for learning where creativity is, students can, the creativity can foster. So here I give the example of movie Robot, where the robot Chetty used to press the button as soon as he encounters a problem. Solution A, solution B. So if A is not working, B is there. So this is the idea of options that a child should have, that if one idea is not working, or there can be multiple options of expressing the same thing, sharing the same idea. And the teacher should be committed to learners' success. The objective should be very much clear. Our objective is not to put them into cramming, that the child is cramming, and we tell them to write the answer as we have taught them. So it is very important for teachers, as teacher, for us to change our thinking, that we expect new things from students and appreciate them. And for that, we need to modify our teaching strategies, so that, and we have to work on our facilitation skills also. Only then we will be able to make our students sustain to the needs of changing society. And for that, it is very important that we be non-judgmental. We always judge this child on their qualities, on their physical qualities, mental abilities, or their creative talents. We put label on the students. This child is useless, this cannot do anything, he's very notorious, he is always making trouble, he is truant, and all this kind of labels we put on the students, and that mars their ability to come up with something new, because we have already set our parameters and we want them to behave according to that. So it is very important that we do not impose our limitations to students. Let them come up with novelty, new ideas. Let them take the risk, and we have to, as a teacher, take risk. If a student comes up with a new idea, we have to take that risk through acknowledging his efforts. We have to develop this thinking that we have to learn from our mistakes. If we are not learning from mistakes, if we are not accepting our mistakes, then it becomes a real trouble. It is very important that we pause to rethink, like what should a teacher do when a student commits mistake? Shall we scold? Shall we give them punishment, or what? If you can come up with your ideas in the chat box, it would be great to read your views in that. So it is, what I think is, it is a teacher should be ready for trying something new. And if this readiness is there in the teacher, that will automatically transfer to the students, because students learn from our body languages. They learn from what we are not saying even then they are learning. So it is very important how we are projecting ourselves in the classroom. We are sometimes speaking something else and projecting something else. Our behavior is telling something else. Students read a body language they're very sharp. They read it and they instantly know that where you are falling short. And one more important thing that I feel is that it is important to get bored of yourself. If you are not getting bored, you will not think of new ideas. So getting bored is very important for every individual. Even if you are a teacher or a student, for every individual, it is very important to get bored of the things and think of new ideas, new things to change. And as a teacher, this is very important to be reflective of what you are teaching and change the strategies, because the group, every year we have a new group. I'm teaching for last 21 years, and I have seen in last 20 years the generation which I used to teach 20 years back is not the same. Earlier they were, we are millennials kind of thing, and they are very comfortable with the digital things. A 2-year child, 1-year child can operate the mobile more perfectly than we do. They are so techno-friendly. So we have to teach such students who will be in our classrooms now. So we have to go a step ahead of uh, students, because if we are not working on our capabilities or the changing as per the changing needs, after some time students may not respect us. We are still teaching. If we observe and the way we are teaching, we'll find that we are teaching the same way we were taught 30 years back, 35 years back. What my teachers were the way of teaching my teachers used to teach me, I'm using the same way in the classroom. So generation has already changed, so we have to change our ways of teaching, and for that we have to open up to new ideas and appreciate and accept. Acceptance is very important here. So let's move to the next slide, where we will discuss about the tools of creative teaching. Here today I am going to discuss about the 3 tools, because the discussion we just had is very generic kind of things which you already know. So what we are going to discuss about 3 ideas. These 3 ideas can support creative teaching. First of all, I would like to talk about free writing. So let's move to the next slide, please. On free writing. This free writing strategy was developed in 1973 by Peter Alvo. But it is not gained so much popularity, but as you, the one who use it don't want to leave it ever, because the results are remarkable when you use this. So like brainstorming, when we are discussing it, like we come up with new ideas, and this is the written form of that. You are writing, you have to write without stopping. You will not stop for a while. You will not move your pen from the paper. It will keep constantly in touch. And the timing for this is 3 to 5 minutes. Generally, free writing exercises we give to the students, in which they are given a topic. Generally, I used to tell students to come up with their own topics. One or the other student will come up with a topic as per their roll numbers. Today's the turn of roll number 1. He'll come up with a topic, and students will write on it spontaneously without lifting the pen from the paper for continuously 3 minutes. And purpose is to increase the flow of ideas. If you're stopping to think, some of the ideas already out of your mind. If you're stopping to put punctuation marks, ideas are gone. So this practice goes with this idea that you will not move your pen from the paper, and continuously will be writing your ideas on it. And specifically it works with the fluency for second language learners, because second language learners always struggle with the fluency part. So it helps a lot in that. It when you are writing, you are producing written language. So you are continuously moving your pen, your ideas are coming. We do not consider about the grammar part, we do not consider the punctuation part, we do not consider the writing part. What we are looking at in this is the idea. Whatever the content is, whatever the topic is, the idea is important. And it gives confidence in the child that the child is able to, he gains confidence. Yes, I could write this much of content. A different kind of free writing activity, I can give you an example. Write a paragraph on balloons without using R, alphabet R. So the children will have to think, they have to use substitutes of the words where the R is appearing in the content. So we can experiment in the free writing also, that we give them this kind of things to come up with creative ideas to write. So not using an alphabet, skipping an alphabet absolutely is a challenge, and for the 3 to 5 minutes you have to continuously write. So we can increase the difficulty level when first the students are mastered in. But the teacher is not supposed to check it. Let me clear here. The teacher is not at all supposed to check it. So this is a very important is a tool for building writing abilities of the students. Now let's move to the next tool, that is JERK technology by Dr. Sansanwal. Here you can see on the, move to the next slide. Can you see here is some words are written as some are capital, some are small, some others are capital, another are small. And there you see a big C of creativity, where C is exceptionally large as compared to the rest of the word. That creativity is smaller, quite smaller in the size. So this is called JERK technology, which we can use in the while we are writing on the blackboard. That when sometimes when we are teaching, we find that students are not taking interest, and you are constantly doing something, you are writing on the board, and the moment you turn your back, they are into their own world. So this kind of ideas, when we use in between, puts them on challenge. The smaller word should be so small that even the first row, the child sitting in the first row, is even not able to read it properly. So they have to ask, what is it? What is it? So this brings the attention of the class back to your content, and this works as a this challenges their brain, this challenges their thinking, how the words are written. Similar example, next move to the next slide. Here is a similar example. This is mirror image. So for this, teachers have to practice a bit, because you have to practice how to write every letter in a mirror image. It takes a quieter part of the brain to write in mirror. So when you see is the mirror image of the same text, you will find that for some alphabets we are using, like, it is challenging. If you don't see the answer part, if we hide the other part where the actual sentence is written, so will it be easy for you to read? Just try it. It's on the screen. You can try to read it. It takes a different, quieter part of the brain to write in mirror. It reminds me of a message which circulates on WhatsApp very regularly, that first letter and the last letter of some word is written correctly, but some of the words are replaced with numerals. But still, we are able to read that. These are the challenges, these are the challenging tasks which we can, teacher can experiment with the students, with some of the words, with some of the sentences, which keeps them challenging. This needs a different part of the brain, different set of the skills of the brain to use these ideas. So if we move to the next slide, this is again a part of JERK technology. Here the teacher makes a known mistake, teacher's known mistake. I know that I am making a mistake, making thoughtful errors where we want our students to focus. I am teaching my students past tense, questioning, interrogative sentences of past tense, and I give them these two sentences. Here you can see two sentences. Which one is correct of the two? Can you put in the chat box? Which one did you find as true? You can write the number, either first or second. Okay, second, 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 second. Okay, okay, one, one, two, two. Okay, great, great. Right. And to your surprise, both are wrong. None of the sentence is correct. Yes, Neha, you are right. Anu Chaudhary, you are right. None of the sentence is correct because when you put the rules of interrogative sentences and of past tense, you'll see with did we you don't use when we use did, we use first form of the verb. So in the first sentence, we are using the second form of the verb. And in the second sentence, if you see, you will find, did you close door? So here the mistake is article. Article is missing. The is missing. So these are the things which we deliberately do. We are not giving them the correct answer. We are giving both the wrong sentences, and this is a deliberate mistake. This is a deliberate error. We want our students to focus on this area, that how a past tense and interrogative sentence is framed. So if we are giving them right answers, they do not force their mind to put into thinking. They keep on doing because they are into they are programmed. They're programmed to do things this way. So let's move to the next slide, please. So this is the idea that we use challenging tasks for the students, and for that we have to work creatively. These are the ideas which creatively you can use. So this is, if you see, this is double negative. This is about double negative, using double negatives. I didn't do nothing. And you see the second picture, we don't need no education, we don't need no thought control. So here double negatives are used deliberately. Teacher can use double negatives, and to understand the meaning of that sentence, student has to put extra effort, put extra pressure on the brain to understand what and where they are going on. They have to challenge their thoughts, they have to challenge their mind. And if you have seen in some of the entrance exams, this kind of questions also given, where we have the entrant has to put the right, check the right answer, what the right answer is. To understand the meaning, you have to decode this double negative. And sometimes if we see that double negative is allowed in mathematics but not in languages. Let's move to the next tool. The last 4 slides were about jerk technology. These were I have taken only few of the examples from it because of the shortage of time. The rest of the ideas of jerk technology are, I have given a link at the end of the PPT, which Kaushal will share with all of you, where you can read about it more. Otherwise also you can search on the internet about the jerk technology. This is propounded by Dr. Sansanwal. He was Dean at Ahilyabai University, Indore, of Education Department. So it's his intervention, which is very helpful in putting creativity in teaching. So when he takes the sessions, he uses these techniques with us also. So let's move to the next is synaptics model of teaching by Gordon. This is one model which is very much in use by the marketing agencies. They use it more than any other industry. Rather, I find it very useful for our students, for particularly for the education world. If we use this kind of idea, it takes the thinking level of our students to the next level. So let's move to the next slide. It is convergent. Sorry, this is actually wrongly placed. The convergent thinking is on the base level and lateral is on the top level. This is I forgot to correct this slide. So let me just clear it. The base is the convergent thinking is in the base. You need very less stress on your brain to to come up with you don't need to push yourself to come up with the ideas. We can say we generally frame questions of lots, lower order thinking skills, which we can say is part of convergent thinking. And the next is that divergent thinking, which takes it to the different thing. We think about different directions, and it on top it should be the lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is creative thinking. So creative thinking is particularly if we see that thank you so much thank you so much Kaushal ji. That convergent thinking is on the base, divergent is next, and then lateral thinking. So we have to push our students, we have to create tasks beginning from convergent thinking based on the lots area. Then we have to take them to the divergent thinking, for which we can use HOTS questions. That these are the lots and HOTS. Let me clarify. Lots is lower order thinking is skills where one can answer the questions spontaneously with using one word or one sentence, like who, when, where. You need only one word or at max one sentence to answer this type of questions. But then if you move to divergent thinking means the HOTS questions, which are for which we can use why, how, what. That takes to divergent thinking. But then comes lateral thinking. We want ideas from nowhere. Still the taking the thinking to the next level. And for that, Gordon gave this synaptics model, and synaptics model has 6 phases. And these are the 6 phases where we take student to a thinking expedition. We can call it thinking expedition. So let's move to the next slide, where we can see all the phases of synaptics model. Yes, thank you. If you see, there is phase 1. Phase 1 is presentation of present condition. Phase 2 is direct analogy. Phase 3, personal analogy. Compressed conflict, new direct analogy or associations, we also call it as associations, and re-examining the original task. So if you let's move to the next slide, where with an example I'll explain these steps to you. So suppose we are in the first phase, and as a language, because I'm explaining all these for the languages part. So first phase is presentation of the topic. Presentation of the topic is, suppose I want my students to write a paragraph on why dreams are important in life, right? So what is the direct analogy? And for direct analogy, we can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, no, don't move it. I'll use it from. Okay, so when you move to the second slide, what you'll find that there are no. I guess. Kaushal, is there any other? Can you move to the next slide? I'm unable to see that. Let me just explain it. So the second part is direct analogy, and for that we tell the students to think of the living things, non-living things, or any word which they can relate to dreams and wishes. So first, in the first phase, we explain the topic that today we are going to discuss about dreams and wishes. In phase 2, we tell them to think of the words which they associate with dreams and wishes. Here, because this session is not interactive, otherwise I would have taken your, I would be writing here. So, which is, I'm not so comfortable with you doing it online. Otherwise, I would have done it here with your ideas. So let's just see what I have used. So phase 2, we suppose that students come up with these words: mistake, spider. I direct think dreams are like slumber. I think when dreams, I associate with dreams and wishes as lazy, with happiness, with butterflies, with mountains. Some students will come up with different words. The teacher will keep on writing these words on the blackboard. Then we'll move to the phase 3, where we want them to develop a personal analogy with this. So dreams and wishes are, now you have to think on personal level about these words which you have given in the phase 2 with indirect analogy, how personally you feel, you associate with the with these words. So some students came with great, learn, active, correct, giant, soft, because depending on the word they have chosen. So if for butterfly somebody came with soft and colorful, for mountains came with snow, tough, right? With spider they came up with active, learn. So these are the suggestions we get from the students, and we keep writing the words from phase 2 and phase 3 on the board. These are the words which come with direct association and personal association, direct analogy and personal analogy. So when the teacher takes them to the fourth phase, which is a very, very important phase, from here the creative thinking starts building. So now we want them to write a combination, a phrase using the words from phase 2 and phase 3 and create a phrase which shows compressed conflict. Compressed conflict is using two words we are absolutely different from each other. So I've given some examples. I have created using these words. So I created great happiness. So happiness is cannot be great. Happiness is happiness. What is great happiness? And then giant spider. A spider is generally very tiny, very small. A giant spider means something unusual. So we have to come up with unusual ideas which creates compressed conflict which are not generally seen. So the tough butterflies. Butterflies are soft, they're very tender. If we hold them very tightly, they'll die. So tough butterflies is contradicting statement. And then again, colorful spider. Spiders are black, gray, brown. But what is a colorful spider? So this is compressed conflict where two words are put together, but they generally are unusual. They are not regular. This is conflicting. If I say colorful spider, immediately you say colorful spider. Is it possible? No. So something for which your mind says no, this can't be possible. This can't be impossible. I'm using jerk technology here. This can't be impossible. So from this phase, let's move to new association, phase 5, where these compressed conflicts, the phrases which we have derived from the ideas of the students, how these ideas associate with dreams. How do you use these ideas, these words, these combination of words to dreams, to describe your dreams? Now comes the now they will associate it, how they'll come up with their ideas, how they relate it to their dreams. Like for example, I say giant spider. I have a dream of becoming a giant spider who can fight with tough butterflies. So they'll associate, they'll here they will discuss the attributes of the thing, the compressed conflict, and associate with dreams. Then in the sixth phase, we put them to actually writing a paragraph using these words, using these compressed conflicts and personal analogies, direct analogies, but in writing a paragraph on why dreams are important in life. So students come up with wonderful write-ups when we actually, because I have conducted this with the, I've experimented with my own students. So students came up with wonderful ideas, because I am, it was one brain. This work you are seeing here is my own brain. So this is not that creative, but when it comes to, students, they come up with wonderful ideas. You cannot even imagine what they come up with. So if we allow them to come up with new things, that is the beginning of creative thinking in their mind. Let's go to the next slide. What creativity means? Can we move to the next slide, please? Yes. Creativity means taking risk, trying. So basically, the very important part is risking yourself. Committing mistakes is very important, because we are programmed in a way that we are afraid of making mistakes. And unless a child is not making a mistake, he'll not able to learn. We try to hide it. It's a stigma in our society to make mistakes. We don't allow, we don't appreciate mistakes. The teachers, parents, society by and large, I would say that we are stuck with www. What went wrong? We are always after what went wrong. Mistakes are the worst thing you can do. It's a stigma. If you're doing something other than the society, other than the set norms, you're considered alien. Who this fellow is? Why so, but like people call them alien. They don't accept them. They don't keep them in their groups. They don't appreciate them. They're different. Their uniqueness is not celebrated. And if particularly we come to the schools or students, in general, teachers and parents, they are very rude with the students who are not good at studies. They're always stigmatized. This child cannot do anything. This child is useless. He is not going to do anything in his life. And I have example in my own family. My brother, everybody used to say that he cannot do anything in life. And today he is doing a wonderful job. So it is very important that we switch our focus of www, what went wrong, to what went well. As you can see in this slide, I have striked what went wrong. No, please strike it off your mind. Don't look for what is wrong. This is very important that we see what went well. What a single thing, if a student has, presented in a wonderful manner, should be appreciated in front of the class. So how we are taking things is a very important for the teacher, that we focus on what went well. And that's the reason we always need someone to validate our actions. We always lack confidence. We always need assurance for others, from others. Am I right? Am I, whatever I'm doing is, accepted? No, we are not accepted, because if you are different or unique, you are not accepted. But we actually are. If approximately 7.8 billion people on this planet, and God is very, very, God is creative. None of us has the same fingerprint. None of us has the same fingerprint. So if God is so creative, why we are the creation of God? We are different, we are unique. And this is itself a creative thing. We are a creative individual. We are born creative. What schools are doing? Schools are killing the creativity of the children, which they don't have any right to kill the creativity of the child. We have to break that programming of society. We as a teacher has to take the responsibility to come out of the box. We should appreciate if a child comes up with new ideas, if something different, if it comes up. Maybe it is not acceptable for me because I haven't experienced it. But every idea comes up from somewhere. There is no idea comes from nowhere. No idea can come up from nowhere. There is ought to be something on the basis of an idea. Maybe initially when I said take something out of the box, copy it, transform it, combine it with different ideas. So when we start doing these things, we have to accept. So in my class, I generally tell my students to copy. I don't mind. Why you are copying from one person? Copy from 5. Read their ideas and make associations. Make your analogies and come up with your idea. I don't mind if you read somebody's notebook, but put your own unique element in there. And that's the basic actual need of that is what a teacher should give their students. Yes, Meenakshi, you're absolutely right. Different perspectives. Here we have day, but a student, a teacher who is in US, if you ask him, will say it's night. Who is wrong? You or that teacher? We both are right, because we are in a different zones. So we ought to have different perspectives. So here, with this, we come to an end to this discussion. And Kaushal, next slide, please. In this slide, I have given some links of a link is on free writing, two links are on Jerk technology, and 2 or 3 links about synaptics model. So maybe I'm not able to, so if somewhere there may be some confusions, for which we can, you'll get my Twitter handle and my email ID, you can come up to me, or you can also explore yourself. For your support, I have given these links in this PPT. So from my end, this is it's done. Thank you so much. Let's come up with, we can take the questions if Kaushal allows us.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your expertise on jerk technology and synthetic modeling. So I would request participants to please write their questions in the chat box so that we can quickly take it up and then we can wind up. So now the chat box is open. You can write up your questions.
thanks to all of you. Everybody is saying thank you, and thanks to you for listening to me so patiently, and I'm glad you find it useful. Okay, how to evaluate free writing? We don't evaluate it, Chandanji. We don't evaluate free writing. It's for students to practice.
Ma'am, there's
My
a
pleasure,
question.
Chandni ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
How can synthetic modeling can be used in
synaptics.
homework? Sorry, synaptics model be used in holiday homework?
Oh, okay. Holidays homework. Okay. So we have to frame questions for that. Actually, I don't know. I wanted to put that slide also here, but I thought it will be very long discussion. So we can frame questions like. So the questions I was using when I was explaining that table. So these are the questions you can give them uh, one by one. So you can take it online in an online session instead of giving it in a homework. It won't be suitable for a homework. It is actually uh, a discussion kind of model. It's a group discussion model, so it is not appropriate for using as homework.
Ma'am, there's another question. Can creative thinking be differently used in the same class? Like suppose every student has a different level. So can creative thinking different level based task used in the same class? There's one
Yes,
question
yes,
that we have
yes,
got from
yes.
Shanu.
Yes, ma'am. If Shanuji, if we use synaptics model, so the it's very simple actually. When you are creating direct analogy, you are asking for simple words. So every level of students can give that words. In when you move to this third level, there also students can come up with are coming up with the words. Challenge will you'll find some challenge at the level 4 and level 5. When in the at level 4 you have to push you have to motivate such students who you think should speak up or come up, and before that it is very important to create a environment where they are you have to assure them again and again that you are not you will not be judgmental if they are wrong, because students don't speak only when they feel that they will be mocked by the teacher or they'll be mocked by the classmates. So only then a student keeps quiet in the class. Otherwise, everybody, we are born to speak. If a dumb person, if you ask a dumb person what he wants desperately, he'll say, "I want to speak." And we are with the with the blessing that we can speak, but we are not. If child is not allowed to speak, we are every time we are telling them to keep quiet. That means you are not doing justice with the child. Tell them to speak up, tell them to come up with new ideas. So when this comfortable that atmosphere of you have to create the atmosphere where they can openly express their views, where they can come up with the ideas without being judgmental, without being criticized. So this is very important.
Ma'am, there's another question by J.R. Sir. If it is out of the box thinking, then how can we assess it through common tools?
We cannot assess creative thinking. Creativity cannot be assessed. Creativity is creativity. I was expecting this question. Thank you, Mr. Jay. Because creativity is creativity. You cannot make assessment for creativity. You can assess knowledge, you can assess comprehension, you can assess skills, but you cannot assess creativity. Creativity is uniqueness. There is no rubric, there is no parameter to assess uniqueness. So I guess this satisfy you, Mr. Jay. If we are not satisfied even with this answer, we can talk on mail or through Twitter. Sunita Chauhan wants to ask
question, ma'am.
something. Okay.
That okay, ma'am. Is it applicable to other subjects also apart from language? The methods that you
Yes,
told
because
us. Is it?
yes. Why not? See, this is the free writing can be done in any subject except mathematics. You can give them any content to write. That about a scientific about a concept. So instantly comes to my mind is that photosynthesis process. You can tell them to write about it, or you can make it creative by telling them to write what are the objects, what are the where photosynthesis does not take place. So these are the this can be given in science, this can be used in social sciences, except mathematics, because language is involved in science also, language is involved in social science also. You can use any language, be it Malayalam, be it Telugu, be it English, Hindi, Gujarati, Bengali, Madrasi, every not Madrasi, any language can you can use these tools. We have limited time and individual has different views on how to explain to each and every student in limited time frame. Okay. So what you want to explain, Deepmala, I am unable to understand. What you want to explain to
I
your
think
student?
maybe Deepmala ma'am, you could connect with Ela ma'am on Twitter and have a discussion over this. Uh, any other questions, participants?
Shanu, what you are implementing is like synaptics technique of teaching or any other thing. So if you are using synaptics, it is not a everyday thing. Synaptics is you can use it twice a week or once a week, just to put the students in a different thinking mode. Because if you take it every day, then your content, your syllabus is going to suffer, and that's a priority. You cannot let the syllabus suffer. Let the student suffer, let the teacher suffer, let the system, society, everything can suffer, but our syllabus cannot suffer.
चांगलं ना, आपण खाऊन टाकू ना त्याला. तिची भाजी करून टाकू.
So I think we are good to go, ma'am. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and for all the techniques that you told us today. I hope that these techniques will definitely help us in bringing creativity into our classrooms. I would say online classrooms, like you talked about free writing. So definitely free writing activities can be taken up into the online classrooms, and the other two methods, jerk technology and synaptics that you told. Maybe if we could explore by the links and if we could build upon them, then definitely it will be wonderful for us. So thank you once again so much, ma'am, for your time and for your patience. And thank you to all the participants who came us and showed their support and listened to Ela ma'am's words. So thank you so much, ma'am. And before we go, please note down Ela ma'am's Twitter ID, that is @ILA1567. So and please
7-6.
share your